I'm going to say it one more time so it really penetrates. Yeah. I am a real woman.
You're anti-trans.
Yeah, so we got something about India Willoughby. This is trans. Oh, comments are turned off. This is how you know it gets fun, you know what I mean? This is trans panic. India Willoughby hits out at reports slamming school trans safeguarding. A number of secondary schools are not informing parents as soon as a child questions their gender identity. Oof. Ouch. Not good. Talk TV's Ian Collins is joined by broadcaster India Willoughby. I just said Ian Willoughby. That's not even what a name used to be. Maybe I should call him Ian Willoughby. I don't know. Who criticised a new report which suggests schools are disregarding safeguarding principles on gender identity. Okay, because it's from a right-wing think tank is bad. Wow. That amazing deduction that India Willoughby can do. Hi, Pablo. I hope you're good. Anyway, let's see. Sorry, one sec. I've had a double mastectomy. I recently had a trans woman offer to breastfeed my future baby. Oh, God. Oh, nasty. Weird.
It isn't the first time we've discussed a debate such as this. There is a wider issue that we might get into about the whole gender discussion and the absolute minefield and mess we have found ourselves in. I think whatever, if I use the word side, it shouldn't be that, but you know what I'm saying if you look at social media. Whatever side you're, surely this has now just reached a point where people need to calm down and we can just settle something once and for all. And it never used to be like this. This never happened. More of that in a moment, but this specific story connects.
Yeah, I don't know. I think body language is like pseudoscience. I remember when like Meghan Markle was in the paper fucking constantly, and you'd see like body language experts looking at her every tiny move, and it's like, Jesus Christ, like, is this enough? Can we calm down a bit, you know? But I don't know. That doesn't mean it's pseudoscience, of course.
To this, child welfare is in danger from gender ideology.
The other thing is, I do a lot of like movements and body stuff just kind of innocuously, and it's a bit annoying when people assume that means something, you know what I mean? So like, I'm on the fence, I guess, with like body language stuff.
Theory in schools, according to a damning report. It says teachers are letting pupils change their names or uniforms without parents or professionals being alerted, and abandoning single-sex toilets and changing rooms. Self-ID policies may mean parents discover their child has transitioned only when they receive a letter citing their new name and pronouns.
That's pretty fucked. Listen, I can empathize with like a parent who doesn't want like a school and their child keeping secrets together from them. Like, I don't know any parents that want to hear about that their child has a secret that they're not to know, because that's just going to scare them, surely.
Someone's renamed their kid. That's quite a big thing. It has been claimed, I should add that on there, most of the secondary schools surveyed by the Policy Exchange think tank are also teaching the contested theory that individuals have a gender identity that can differ from their biological sex.
Yep, scrap all of that from any educational material whatsoever. Should not be being taught to people. There's no evidence or proof of it. Like, what's a gender identity? What does it mean to identify as something other than just calling yourself that thing? It's silly. We shouldn't be putting ideas into people's heads. They should be able to explore their gender, and like if they want to wear certain things that don't really correlate with what you'd think their gender would be, then what's the problem with that? Why does it mean you have to jump to conclusions about who and what they are, you know?
Let's speak to India Willoughby, broadcaster and journalist, friend of this programme. I'd like to say, India, good afternoon to you. Nice to have you with us. Listen, look, I know that this think tank, one of our guests said it earlier, it's a bit of a right-wing think tank. They may well, be in their interest or their confirmation.
How many teachers have gotten caught dating their underage students? I don't know for sure, but certainly happens, unfortunately.
bias to come up with this conclusion, but we have been in this territory before, and we do know that it does go on, where kids can pick their own pronouns, can say out loud they are changing their gender, and there is no obligation to inform the parents of that.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for that preface there. And I would agree, you know, it is, at the end of the day, a right-wing think tank. And I would tell you that this is complete hogswash. It is not happening. All of these stories...
Oh, it's not happening. Okay. This never happens. Why is it that whenever people say this never happens, actually it's fucking happening? Like surgery on children, stuff like that. This never happens. It never happens.
That you hear about children going into school and little Johnny and little Janie being hypnotised. Mr. Jenkins, the geography teacher.
I know, I'll just make a ridiculous summary of all this shit. And then that'll convince people. Like, amazing. It's the same tactic we see over and over again. Did anyone say this? Did anyone say someone's hypnotizing someone into being trans? No, they're saying that they are like, what's the word? They're saying that kids are like coming out with this kind of shit and they're affirming it and keeping it away from their parents, which literally happens in fucking America. Isn't it California that like, yeah, definitely happening in California. Exactly. That's like law or something. That's legal, which is insane. Always 60% of the time, this never happens 100% of the time. It never happens, and if it does, good. I bet that's her stance.
Teacher gets his pocket watch out and starts swinging it side
Never
to side.
trust Jenkins.
And saying that you're now a girl or you're now a boy. It just simply is not happening. It's more of the trans scare story, trans panic.
But there were schools that responded to this, India, and said that they wouldn't tell parents if this happened.
Is this where we go, oh, well, then it's based then. Let's see.
That's correct. Well, I'm just coming on to this.
That's correct. This never happens. Well, some school says that they do it. That's correct. Fucking hell. Was this person ever, like, taken seriously? I hope not nowadays. I really hope not. I know the kind of shit, like, I've seen the kind of spats she gets in with people like J.K. Rowling, and it's so weird. It's so cringe.
The policy here. Now, what they're drumming up here is essentially what we had in the 80s when...
Okay. Let's pretend that trans and gay are the same thing. Let's invoke gay rights. Let's invoke history for something that history is not relevant to. Amazing. I'll just zone out for this bit because I've heard this all before a million times.
Children were identifying as gay in schools. And at the time, there was a big brouhaha about it. I remember it well. You're of a similar age, Ian. I'm sure you do too. And I'm sure...
Oh, they're worried about like sexual, like children talking about sexual stuff. Wow.
That if Talk TV, the Daily Mail, and the Times were around, they would be doing stories saying it's outrageous that kids are identifying as gay. But it's now 2023. We don't really bother about kids being gay. You know, we see it as normal. And with trans kids, it's just the same thing.
No. How is a kid being gay the same as a trans kid? Like, a kid being gay is going to grow up and prefer to have sex with people the same sex as them. A so-called trans kid will A, probably desist when puberty hits or after puberty, and 2, has to do all these, like, take all these hormones and literally thinks they're the opposite sex when that is not possible. That's insane. What's happened to this fucking person?
Nobody is undergoing surgery.
Not true. It's not true. Nobody is undergoing surgery. That is not true. You get kids getting mastectomies. You get kids... Look at the WPATH files. Look at literally, I think it's the first page or 2 of the leaked materials. You've got Marcy Bowers and someone else talking about all the vaginoplasties they've done on kids younger than 18, you know, male to female.
Nothing permanent is happening.
Every single thing she's going to say is wrong. everything she's going to say is a lie. She's lying out her ass.
And in this country, we have something, again, something that you'll be aware of, something called Gillick competency. Now, Gillick competency was brought in way back in the day, and it was originally brought in around the right of girls to have birth control without their parents necessarily knowing, because of...
All right, girls having birth control. How is that comparable to a child changing their entire being? Or at least believing that that's what they're going to be doing. Taking like puberty blockers, which are not 100% reversible, going on to hormones, as the vast majority of them do. Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm learning about this Gillick competency thing in real time. But if it was originally about like birth control, well, yeah, maybe you'd want kids to get birth control so that if they happen to be fucking other boys that are the same age as them, they're not going to have a kid, and that's 20 years of their life, like, spoken for now, you know what I mean? Gillick competence. Used to determine if the child has the maturity or intelligence to understand the treatment risks. This seems like a mad argument to me. This seems utterly insane.
Obviously, in some instances, if your family is particularly conservative in their social outlook, or perhaps religious,
which has absolutely nothing to do with whether the child is actually trans or not, by the way. But she has to put the boot in on conservatives and religious people at every opportunity because she's trans.
It may be against a child having birth control, but it was deemed in Britain that children, if they were assessed to have Gillick...
So this is a terrible fucking analogy, because that's what we do. Birth control versus changing into a fucking girl or changing into a fucking boy, in as much as you can do so. Wow.
Competency, which is basically an awareness of what's happening, and it's from the age of 12 upwards. You can...
Okay, so 12-year-olds and up, yes. Let's get the puberty blockers going. Let's get you on hormones. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Make choices.
India Willoughby says that you're competent to make that choice, so go make that choice. Don't worry about getting your breast cut off and then regretting it years later, because you're going to have the rest of your life then to come to whatever conclusion. Doesn't have a blahage in her room. Oh, shit. I guess we got a transgender on our hands. Shit.
About who you are, what happens to you, etc. And that's essentially the principle that applies to trans children.
That is insane. You hear the way she like kind of hesitantly ends the sentence. Even she knows how bizarre an argument that is. Like, fucking hell, what am I trying to say? Birth control versus gender affirming care. I'm so sorry. That's insane. You can't compare those two things. Like, if a young girl doesn't get birth control and she's like fertile or whatever, like, goes a bit too far with a boy her own age who is also fertile, that could be the next 20 years of her life if she is pregnant and goes through with it, like spoken for, when she's very young. With trans, you're talking about the rest of your fucking life. And that's if you go along with the Gillick competence thing. Like, insane.
That's essentially the principle that applies to trans children.
She sounds so unsure there because she knows. She fucking knows, okay? I do not accept anything other than she knows how crazy this is. This is gross. I'm sorry. It is.
And kids. The Equality Act of 2010 also covers trans kids.
No perving, thank you. No perving on my behind. This feels like a private moment, don't cork. Anyway, we were getting way too upset about India Willoughby saying borderline nonce things. Oh shit, I shouldn't say that. I'll get arrested. Someone said something and I want to... At what age are they fine with giving out birth control? 10-year-old wanted birth control, but you tell the parents? I mean, I think the parents should probably know things in general, but okay.
In the Equality Act, it says that gender reassignment is a protected characteristic. And a lot of people will jump on the fact that I've just said there, gender reassignment, and immediately in their mind's eye be seeing a surgical procedure going on. That's not the case.
Not the case. Children never get mastectomies or vaginoplasties. Never the case.
Gender reassignment can be anything. It doesn't necessarily have.
Yeah, it just means calling yourself a thing. That's why trans and non-binary are meaningless and shouldn't be rights issues. I agree.
So it can be psychological as well as physical.
It can be. It's merely the choice. If you're saying, look, this is who.
Believe what they say. Trans is not anything deep. It's just calling yourself a thing. That's what it is now. I didn't think it was that, but apparently it is. So believe what they say. And then say, well, if it's just a choice, why is there a rights movement attached to it? So you just opt into a rights movement. I'm non-binary now. Now I have rights. That seems a bit preposterous, right?
Who I am. This is who I'm going to be from here on in.
The other thing is, if gender is fluid, which I'm inclined to believe that it is because it gets affected by social factors and stuff like that. If that's the case, why would you get a young child and want to like pin them down into one specific gender that they might not even feel in like 10 years time or something? All women's voices matter even if they're men. Well, hey.
That's gender reassignment.
Is there, do you think, in...
That's not even an argument. Like, just because there's a law around it, like, okay, so what? Then maybe I disagree with that law.
Yeah, a wider point here, because I don't disagree with what you said, whether people like it or not. You're right about the contraceptive pill. I remember doing debates about...
Please challenge her on how that is comparable. Why don't we do that more often? Why don't we ask people to back up the weird analogies that they make and the weird comparisons that they make?
Whether, parental consent should be sought, etc. But my sense of this, which is actually my sense of the wider argument, is that it's never really been about trans people. It's never been about people...
Could ruin someone's long-term health. Yep, absolutely. We don't really know long-term, like let's say you put a child through the puberty blockers and then they go on to every step as they go. What's their life expectancy going to be like? We really don't know that kind of thing.
Like yourself, as an example, and
you're wrong. I'll be quiet. But you're absolutely wrong.
I'll be quiet, but
been about trans people. It's never been about people like yourself, as an example, and
you're wrong.
He hasn't even said why. He hasn't even expanded a slight amount. Shut the fuck up.
I'll be quiet. But you're absolutely wrong.
Can I just let me embroider that point a little further, and because I know what I think I know what you're going to say, but let me just qualify my point. We've talked about this. That I've done this job for over 20 years. Never ever remember doing a debate on trans issues until the last half an hour when I've done 100 of them. It just never came up. Yeah. We've lived in a world where people I'm thinking the tennis player Rennie Richards, I don't know, Faye Presto, Nadia from Big Brother, more recently Caitlyn Jenner, never even got discussed really.
And that's that's a really good point.
I'll be quiet. He's not he's halfway at best through what he's saying, and she won't shut the fuck up. Oh my god. Is this where fucking Frida Wallace gets it from?
Amazing there. We never used to do that, and ask yourself why. Carry on though. I
can tell you why, because...
So kind to give him permission to speak on his own show occasionally.
Something else happened, and that was we introduced a phrase, and I know what your view used to be on it. I'm sure it's refined now. A phrase called non-binary. And that phrase opened up a whole spectrum where people could, for whatever reason, almost select their gender. And we know that there are many people who claim there are 100 genders, etc. Who the heck knows? I don't really care, to be honest, but we know that is out there. And that is where I sense the trouble started. I don't think this is really... I know ultimately there are some very mean people...
India losing it. I've seen one of the clips. I'll try and find them. I can find them after this. I've got loads of time, I think, so.
People who say horrendous, I've seen the stuff on social media. You and I had a very brief conversation about one such commentator who I would never have on this show for the very reasons that you would not want to engage with either. But I do think there is an issue over, and again, sorry to re-quote you from back in the day when you used to come in with us. I remember you saying you attended an event and there was a bloke there with a beard who went on.
He's being way too nice. Like, why are we teaching kids this? There's no evidence that any of this gender ideology shit exists. It exists just to, like, affirm people's feelings, which isn't reality, unfortunately.
Forgive me for anyone with delicate ears, but I will use the word for this. A guy walked on stage, says, "I have a dick and I'm a woman." And you said, I think you were meant to go on afterwards and give a speech, and you said, "Sod this for a game of soldiers, I'm going home." And it's that group of people that I think have created the problem. Either those from the politicised ultra-left, those that are looking for a fashion statement, kids who think...
I don't even agree with him, honestly. Again, like, I used to throw non-binaries under the bus just like most people. I think we're all complicit in this shit. Transsexuals are no better. Plenty of what we would call cis people, if we're soy enough. Would not fucking... they're just as complicit, you know what I mean? Like, why is this in schools? Why are we putting ideas into kids' heads? And why are we not talking about that?
I want to be part of something. I mean, a survey the other day...
Who cares about non-binaries? It's like, this is a problem up and down, you know what I mean?
25% of kids are non-binary. No, they're not. We all know that.
Look, it's none of those things, I promise you. First of all...
Nope, it's just an attack on trans people, blah, 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 blah.
The gender non-binary thing, which I'll explain in a minute, actually, from my point of view. This didn't all begin with gender non-binary. This started about 4 or 5 years ago, very deliberate, and it started actually in the UK, and then it went to the US, who invested lots of money in it, and it's bounced back into the UK, and it's literally caught fire here, like nowhere else.
These are just conspiracy theories.
In the world, we are now known as Turf Island.
Yeah, by trans people that have lost their fucking minds, by crazy radicals. The crazy trans radical shit started long before fucking 5 years ago, you utter liar.
Exclusionary radical feminist island. Where it actually started was at the Voters' Values Conference, which again, I explained to you a couple of years ago, when the religious right in America stood up and said, look, forget about attacking the gays. They're safe. They've been accepted. You need to go away and you need to attack the weak link in the chain, which is T. It's a harder sell to the public, being gays. They're safe. They've been accepted. America stood up and said, look, a couple of years ago, started was at the Voters' Values Conference, which again, I explained to you a couple of years ago.
When was this? Is it this one here? Anti-LGBT, 2017. Maybe. I mean, that anti-SJW stuff was before this, and some of that was about, like, weird tranny shit, but sure. This is complete conspiracy. And, like, unfortunately, he is not, like, challenging her anywhere near enough. He's letting her, like, he's letting her dictate the conversation, more or less. She keeps jumping in. He won't tell her to shut up. I guess they're friends or something. Amazing. Maybe don't be the one interviewing her if you're friends with her. I don't know.
When the religious right in America stood up and said, look, forget about attacking the gays. They're safe. They've been accepted. You need to go away and you need to attack the weak link in the chain, which is T. It's a harder sell to the public, being trans. And all of a sudden, over the last 4 or 5 years, you've had all these organized...
All of a sudden, 4 or 5 years, like, I mean, this is extremely easy to disprove. All of a sudden, in the last 4 or 5 years, we want to say, is that right? All of a sudden, last 4 or 5 years, this is the most disgusting video on YouTube, by the way. These two people are utterly foul, ghoulish. Because Magdalene Burns died over 5 years ago. The first video was 8 years ago.
Would you date a lesbian with...
Shut up, Ariel. 2016. Didn't start with the religious right 4 or 5 years ago. Started in the 70s with radical feminism. I'll have to have a look.
These pop-up shops.
Just accuse the other side of what you're doing. Yes, very much so. And I mean, even the trans radical shit, it's been going longer than like 5 years, trust me. It's been much more noticeable in the last 5 years because trans has got more and more visible to the point where this conversation is a lot more ubiquitous than it used to be. Because so many people just didn't give a fuck for a long time. Because like, how many fucking trannies are they even out there? Not very many.
Which didn't exist, as you've just said, within the last few years. And at the bottom of this very report, they're all actually listed. And that's where the transphobia
But some of those,
from.
when you
And
say
honestly,
transphobia,
Another male GC guy just died and all the TRA vultures are circling, harassing his family. That does not surprise me whatsoever. They did the same with Magdalene Burns. I let people convince me she's a terrible person on the back of like 3 tweets. And so I'm glad I've been able to look through her catalogue and, you know, change my mind on that because I don't know. I think it's fucked. I think it's fucked encouraging people to do that.
no one's going to defend transphobia. It is horrific, like any other kind of
let me
hatred.
finish here. This is...
Yeah, God forbid you speak ever. Like, fucking hell, grow a spine, Ian. What is wrong with you?
I just want to get across this point here. This is very organised. It's very coordinated. And I hear what you're saying, Ian, and I understand why you say it.
So, like, what? We can't be against, like, transitioning children because there's some organised shit going. Like, what?
From your point of view, to you, these just appear random things about non-binary people. It doesn't affect somebody like me who's medically transitioned, but it does because we're being attacked on multiple fronts.
No, I get that.
And there are all these threads.
You have been brought into a debate because left-wing Marxist radical thinking has messed up, and you were quietly living your life and doing just fine, and so are many other people. And suddenly these guys come along and start saying, you can be anything you want. Schools should embrace it. Institutions should embrace it. Anyone
He's just ignoring everything he says. This is a complete waste of time.
can walk in a female changing room and say, I'm a woman, just by saying it.
She's not engaged. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. Like, I don't know. Was it We Spa? We Spa controversy. Presence of a nude individual with a penis, most commonly believed to be a trans woman, in the women's changing room area of the spa.
Anyone can walk in a female changing room and say, I'm a woman, just by saying it.
But that doesn't happen, Ian.
You're lying. That's just a lie. And I guess he doesn't know enough unless he's gonna actually call this shit out. He hasn't been doing so far. He's like lost his fucking balls somewhere, I guess. I don't know. Like, why aren't you pushing back on this properly? Fucking hell, do I have to fucking go on Talk TV so I can fucking challenge this utter heathen on the bizarre shit she is saying? Like, you're just allowing this person to like spread their propaganda. And that's probably, like, she knows this. That's why she won't let him get fucking half a sentence out.
And that's
No, I know that's hypothetical mostly, but it...
Don't, oh my, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. Why are you having this conversation? You don't know. You don't know. So why are you having this conversation? It's so easy. It's so easy. Type in, We Spa controversy. I don't know. There's loads of them. Can't remember as many of them offhand. What was that person that had like a beard? Planet Fitness, there we go. Planet Fitness. Doesn't happen, does it? Doesn't happen. Someone says they're a woman, does man shit, is a man. Not many fucking pictures, are there? Like, why lead me on like this? Here we go. Doesn't happen, does it, India? Doesn't happen? This is that not happening, I guess, right? Living in the locker room. I just want the picture. There we go. Here we go. Doesn't happen, does it? This doesn't happen? This doesn't happen? This is just trans panic. This is people making things up. Some coordinated conspiracy.
Institutions that embrace it. Anyone can walk in a female changing room and say, I'm a woman, just by saying it.
But that doesn't happen here.
She desperately does not want him to say things like this, by the way, because it does happen. But that doesn't happen, Ian. No, this trans woman shaving their face. A male thing to do. There's a lot of videos here and it's making me lag, but you get my point. You get my point. This person is a liar. This person is a complete liar.
Anyone can walk in a female changing room and say, I'm a woman, just by saying it.
But that doesn't happen, Ian. That's simply...
No, I know that's hypothetical mostly.
I hate this. I hate this. No, it's not hypothetically. Sorry, it's not hypothetical. It's fucking happened. And you're copying to her bullshit. You're allowing her to spread her shit like herpes.
But it can technically happen in some places.
It can technically... You're a fucking cuck, mate. Mate, what are you doing? What are you doing? Fucking hell. I wish this was recent so I could like... Oh, I don't know. I don't even know. Oh, I love it.
No, it doesn't happen. I'm sorry. It just...
She's still doing it. She's still lying. You're still lying. Literally, I watched like a video of like fucking Charles Clymer. Maybe I can find it again. The spa issue in Washington is especially bad because there are multiple trans-inclusive spas here. Person chose to go to a space that was made to be safe for females. Oof, that's pretty rough. Also, that doesn't surprise me very much because Washington is one of those places. What was I looking for? Here we go.
Woman. She tells us that she was asked for her ID to use the bathroom at a popular DC restaurant. Then she was kicked out when she refused. WSA 9's Michael Quander explains why she claims it was discrimination.
It feels amazing. Charlotte.
I need a stinger noise for when like the person appears because they're saying she the whole time. And then you see the person and it's like, whoa, that is not what I expected. Ian's the real trans activist. Hey, maybe.
Charlotte Clymer revealed she's a transgender woman.
India is a fucking demon. I don't even care. Fucking sue me for that. I hope India Willoughby, she's got me blocked on Twitter, so I don't know how I'd like reach her with any of this shit, but she's a fucking hack, liar, piece of shit.
6 months ago.
Have you liked the stream, by the way? You should like the stream and check out the links in my description.
I no longer feel insecure in my own skin. But Friday, I felt helpless. Told a different story. I felt stunned. I felt it was surreal, like I was in a dream state of something. Clymer was here at Cuba Libre off of H Street. There was about 10 of us. Celebrating her friend's bachelorette weekend on Friday. We were having a lot of fun. Everyone was having a great time. That was until Clymer tried to... Isn't she lovely? Use the bathroom. The attendant reached out to ask for my ID. In order to use the women's bathroom, she says an employee told her she had to have female listed on her ID card. I said that's nonsense, and I walked into the restroom, started doing my business, and he walks in.
Started doing my business. I'm sorry. The things that these people say all the time, it's like, oh my God.
There to look for me. I wait for him to leave, finish up, wash my hands, walk outside, and then he and the manager are there. And the manager is now saying, I need to see your ID. It is legal for you to use the women's restroom. The incident sparked a Twitter fight.
Here we go. Couldn't use the women's restroom. Is it because you're a man? Do my business. Do my business. Did you take a massive fucking dump? I don't know why, but like doing business in the toilet, that's what it sounds like to me, always.
Firestorm and caught the mayor's attention. Mayor Bowser said that what the restaurant is accused of doing is not just illegal, it's against all we stand for. DC law requires that access to all facilities be consistent with a person's gender identity or expression.
How do you present, like, sorry, what? Let me think what I'm saying here. How do you prove a gender identity? How do you say, like, gender expression? Does that mean that a woman wearing like a shirt and trousers should go in the men's? Like, what are we saying here? Like, I don't know.
Not their sex assigned at birth. Clymer says the manager kicked.
I know he's always wearing the headbands, and they're not hairline covers. Sometimes they're like, he's like pulling his hair back so much it's like showing it off really badly. There's a reason why I don't like do that kind of thing myself. And also like the headband thing, it's a lot of them look very like neotenous, and this person does not need to try and look like neotenous, you know what I'm saying?
Her out.
One side was shoved out the...
Like, doesn't it look a bit, you know, when you have a kid and it's a girl, but she hasn't grown up enough for her hair to start growing properly. Defo clogged the toilet. Nice. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. When your little girl her hair isn't grown enough and people keep thinking it's a boy, so you put like a headband on it or something. That's what this person looks like to me, but like a man in his 30s.
The front door of the restaurant, it was just incredible sadness.
According to the police report, the restaurant told officers it is their policy to check everyone's ID to use the bathroom, and that they only kicked Clymer out because she was, quote, irate. A company spokesperson told us that, quote, as a rule, we support safe bathrooms and welcome guests of all gender identifications. We are immediately retraining our entire staff. But as for Clymer, she says that's not enough. But it sounds like you're going to keep fighting this.
Oh, I'm going to be fighting this.
In Northwest Washington.
I'm sure that this is like, these like trans activists that people seem to have any kind of profile whatsoever. They just like Karen up on people. I'm pretty sure that Julia Serrano was the same. Someone said about like a lesbian cruise. I mean, I need to look into that more, so don't take my word for it. But that's all they seem to do is like try and muscle their way into female spaces, get rejected, and then now they're a trans activist. Amazing. I don't want any part of that. Like, if they're advocating for trans people, I don't want to ever call myself trans again, quite frankly.
Michael Quander.
We're not going to let this ruin our weekend.
WUSA.
I mean, I don't know, just the copy pasta. I don't think someone mentioned it last time, but no one posted it, so I actually don't know it. Anyway.
Doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen, even though we've just seen 3 different examples.
This is what I mean. It's like a dust cloud.
No, you're literally doing that yourself. You are the dust cloud. You're the smoke and mirrors. You're the fucking obfuscator here. And he's being fooled. Like, more fool Ian Collins for not making his point at all and not controlling the conversation. Published a paper where she tried to debunk autogynephilia and failed. I think she might have been, yeah. There's been a lot of them. The Traz is a great choice, I know, right?
I'm saying it can technically happen in places where, you know, if I walked into...
Oh, he's letting her, like, walk all over him. This is quite embarrassing, emasculating even.
A changing room now, or in Top Shop, I know somebody who did this for a giggle. It happened to be a gay man, whether that's
well,
relevant or not.
Well, he didn't do it for a giggle.
And what he did, he went and said, I identify as a woman,
no,
can I use the women's changing room?
Travis Allbanzer, and he didn't do it for a giggle. He's trans. I believe he's transitioning now.
Well, I don't know. He's my mate Laura's friend. I have no idea whether you know him, but he tried it to see what would happen. And they went, oh, yeah, of course you can use the changing rooms.
Well, if we're talking about the same person, it's not the person that was in the news and widely reported.
No, it's not. No.
And now because he's given an example, oh, I know that person, even though you don't, like, this is disgusting. And he's letting it happen. Again, more fool you, Ian.
At the time. So, as I say, it's just a dust cloud of all these things, which with an ultimate aim of the gender critical movement, which is very
rejection,
organised, very well funded,
organised, well funded, as if there's no money behind any of the trans shit. Seeing as how a lot of this like trans inclusive stuff just kind of happened. There wasn't really any like push for it from like people on the ground or whatever. It just kind of happened. You want to say there's no money involved? You want to say all these like surgeons that make fucking bank off of this shit that are part of WPATH, like that doesn't constitute money, like money being funneled into our shit, you know what I'm saying?
Basically obliterating trans people from society. They'll start by saying, I have nothing
bullshit.
Nothing against trans people, but, and then they will go into a list
Oh, a bit like when trans people say, I have nothing but against detransitioners, but...
of reasons why trans people cannot exist as trans people
I think
within society.
Literally can't, like, oh my God.
All right, listen, India, this could carry on. We do hit the clock. In fact, we've shot over.
Embarrassing performance by Ian here. Embarrassing. Yeah. Oh, nasty. Nasty.
Let's have a longer conversation about this going forward, because I think there's lots in this to discuss.
I tell you what, Ian, if you have not had this conversation yet, hit up The Mary Chew on YouTube, yeah? Hashtag subscribe to The Mary Chew. And then let me fucking talk to this person. I'll come prepared. I'll have examples. This doesn't happen, does it? What about these fucking 10 examples? You want to tell me all of these are fake? You want to tell me all of this is the fucking gender critical agenda? Amazing. Amazing.
Discuss more on that from you as well. 0344 499 1000 is where you will find us. Thank you to India Willoughby. This is Talk TV.
Ouch. Ouch. Fucking hell. I don't know if Ian will ever recover.
I feel absolutely awful about it.
I've already had it.
He hasn't had it. Yeah, but I mean, I had it.
I was coughing my guts out for days.
I haven't done it again. Why do I do that?
Because you're talking to a man?
Don't know.
It's because I fancy you as the other.
That's twice you've misgendered me. And I know we've been great.
Listen, I'm trans. This is embarrassing, okay? Acting this way is embarrassing.
When did I misgender you?
Amanda?
I think I did.
She's misgendered me, and the second time she's done it, she just chuckled.
I do apologise deeply.
Apology's not enough because...
Oh, India, cut my head off.
That's the second time you've done it now.
Sorry, but, you know, I did explain to you how important it was. That is twice you've done it, and you certainly don't misgender someone and then have a chuckle.
India, if it's
You're a man. I just did it. I just did it. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
not deliberate, an apology is always enough if it's not deliberate.
Let me tell you, Anne, that only I know how I feel. You don't know how I feel.
Yes, you get to decide how everyone's motives are. You get to decide whether something was meant to cause offence or not. Fuck off.
Feel inside, okay?
Well, I'm sure that's true, but, you know, what
I
can I apologise deeply?
As the person concerned, that I take great offence.
Narcissism. Anyway, more narc rage. I think here's the, actual, fucking narc rage that happens. Controlled speech, far worse than misgendering. I actually agree. And you know what? It is now impossible to misgender me. That's how you do it. Just stop caring. Accept your sex, accept whatever labels people feel like giving to you. Because to me, I don't know. Labels aren't really something I feel like giving myself. People can call me what they want.
Are we okay?
No.
Are you okay after someone called you a he? It's not worth arguing about misgendering. No, I agree. Absolutely agree.
No, okay? I'm gonna say this once, and I would just like everyone to respect me. I spent 50 years
Narcissism.
of my life.
Person is 50. Oh my God, I grew out of this. I don't know, before I was 30, maybe? Fucking hell. Hi, Ertaporn. How you doing?
Trapped in the wrong body, and despite...
Not real. I bet now, if you were to say, well, trans people are now literally saying that they're women trapped in men's bodies, should be like, no one says that. That doesn't exist. Yeah, it does. Literally, you're saying it here.
Any of these misconceptions and rubbish stories that you read in the press, you know, that, oh, it's just a lifestyle choice and what have you. It's not, okay? I felt extremely trapped. I am the transgender person here, and I am annoyed. It's not
Narcissism.
acceptable.
Would you
okay?
like me to leave?
Listen,
Would you?
I'm just explaining
No, I'm
to you.
explaining something to you. That was an accident.
I'm sorry. You're being very aggressive here. You've just called me a name, and you're
Some people don't grow up, true. I know plenty of people way older than me that are still all up in this shit. It's embarrassing. Kill me if I ever get like this at this age, frankly.
Being very aggressive here. You've just called me a name in there.
I'm just defending myself.
Called them a name, like what he? Oh no. It's like peak white people problems is what this is.
You're defending yourself. You've just...
Ashley, come on. Not Ashley,
Listen.
India. India. Just misnamed. Sorry.
Just misnamed. Holy fucking shit. I actually haven't seen like the longer clip. I've seen her talking about penetrating, which is interesting for a person that had a penis at one point. Let's penetrate, yeah. Let's penetrate a woman. Okay. Hang on.
Ashley, come on. Not Ashley,
Listen.
India. India. Just misnamed. Sorry.
Fucking roasted.
Listen. Look, let's all chill.
Look here, look, listen. Oh my god, this is funny. This is actually really funny. I can't believe I've not looked at this. Even though this is probably going to get me like copyrighted. Stream Arrested Development. Yep, sounds about right.
I understand why you feel...
Look at us seething. I'm sorry. I get to laugh at this person because this is laughable. And she fucking lies.
upset.
Look, can I just say something? I don't want to be patronised. I don't want to tap in the head. I am sure there are people in this room now who, when I've been upstairs, said, oh, I don't know what all the fuss is about. It's no big deal.
Well, I'm thinking that right now. I don't know about anyone else.
I'm in here as a woman, okay?
I agree with that.
Not a he.
That.
Handmaiden o'clock. Handmaiden alert. I need like alerts. Narc rage and like handmaiden and shit like that.
Big deal. I'm in here as a woman, okay?
I agree with that.
Not a he.
Oh, she's the same as you, is she? How so? Did you have a penis as well at some point?
A she, a woman, okay? I'm a real woman, Amanda. I want you to know that.
Yes,
a real woman, okay?
In what sense?
I'm glad that's sinking in. I'm going to say
how can a male person become a woman?
One more time so it really penetrates.
Penetrate. Couldn't have used another word. Hey.
Real woman, okay? I'm glad that's sinking in. I'm going to say it one more time so it really penetrates. Yeah. I am a real woman, okay?
Sure, babe. Sure.
I've been very
And I'm also a real woman. No, wait, no, I'm not. Shit.
open since I've been in
Well,
this
we won't
house
talk about
and
it.
responded to all questions that have been asked.
Let's not have our tea
listen.
and forget about it.
Do you know what? I'm going to leave you to it because apparently...
No,
listen, I'll tell you
You
what.
can't keep being temperamental.
Yeah. Go in. Fuck yeah.
Apparently...
No,
listen, I'll tell you
You
what.
can't keep being temperamental.
Fucking yeah. This is what I need. This is what we needed.
I'm the
Let that dilate for a moment. Jesus.
one who's been misgendered here.
Not that trannies are sensitive or anything.
Joke.
Let's just have our tea.
It's a little too
Let's
sensitive
save
right
some
now. That's what I think.
What?
I think it's a
Look, let's
little
just
too
leave it.
sensitive right
Leave it.
now.
Oh baby. That's how you know. That's how you know it's the sigh. That's how you know.
I think, in a way, I almost think a guy in this house would feel more comfortable flirting with Shane because he's a gay guy.
I think we've seen that.
And they would be
But
less...
it's also because of my demeanour, not just because I'm a gay guy.
flirting with me, not because I'm a woman, but because
Not because you're a woman, yeah.
I'm a trans woman.
That's right.
But it's also got to
But
do
you're
with the
right,
individuals.
India.
Yeah.
But did you expect something else? Did you honestly?
Wait, someone didn't want to flirt with them? Okay, amazing.
I think that this is part of the problem.
Is this what someone was saying about like wanting to kiss someone and then not having that reciprocated?
Yeah.
With being hitched to LGBT. It's the confusion element. And I do feel that women like...
Was anything happening except for this person making a scene? I don't know. Like, I never watched Big Brother. Whenever I saw Big Brother when I was a kid, everyone seemed to be sleeping and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Me have been sort of drowned out by the LGBT
No, they've been uplifted because the LGBT has enabled you to be here to have this voice. Because the
nah, that's bullshit.
Trans people were such a small part, like 1 to 3%, and by lobbying essentially with the LG and the B, and from 1969 to now, we now have an environment where someone can be trans and be a newsreader.
Can I just say something in the greatest respect of all your letter calling of what it means? I'm just one guy.
Oh yeah, I know,
right?
You're cool.
And not knowing about any particular groups of people who are trying to do anything, right?
Yeah.
So I've entered a house, and what I've met with is my first point of the information that's going to be received. So if I met with you as a woman, and you're what I feel
you got him trained. That's nice.
To be you're kind of on a defense mechanism all the time, as opposed to how, and I'll just give you a great example of with Shane is he's very fluid with his, well, this is why, and so he's educational. And where my approach to you would be a bit more tiptoey and afraid to ask you the wrong question in case I offended you. And so
that's fair.
No, I know, and so in your defense mechanism, I'm scared to gain knowledge which I can't transfer to the rest of the world. Do you know what I mean?
There we go, India Willoughby.